Hi everybody, this is Raghav and you're watching Zindagi TV. Arey Vah.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of the SAK Show, proudly brought to you by MacCoffee on Zindagi TV. And today, all the way from Canada, Raghav, thank you so much for coming in, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I mean, big fan, been there for years, and I think we're just going to share with our viewers the journey of Raghav, who the man is, Raghav.
Sure, yeah.
And I think let's just take it back a couple of years ago. Singing, you're one of the few singers who actually sings a lot. At the moment we have a lot of auto-tune singers.
Sure, yeah.
That. I mean, you're blessed with a vocal cord. How did that come out?
I've been singing since I was 4 years old. I remember it's sort of been in me from that age. And, a lot of people, I think, go through life wondering what they're going to do and figuring out the economics of life and how they're going to make a living. And for me, there was really no choice. I knew I wanted to be in music, but where I grew up was... it was very secluded and separated from the genres that influenced me the most. Yeah. Pop, R&B, soul music, and of course, mostly Indian classic Bollywood music influenced me the most. So I grew up in Calgary in Canada, which is like, there's none of that stuff there. So I think I gained this like extra hunger for it because, my friends in London grew up around all those genres. Yeah. I didn't. So I sort of gained this extra hunger for it because I felt like I was on an island. And I was all by myself.
So you didn't go into like a classical training or something?
I did a couple of years of that, and it was okay.
Was that in India, Canada? Or
in Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah,
okay.
in Canada.
So there are places where you can actually learn Indian music.
Yeah. I mean, it's an island, but there's other people on the island.
Okay.
But so I did a little bit of that, but mostly just self-taught and the love and blessings of my family and family friends and stuff, and
so they've been very supportive.
Very supportive.
In the
they've known
industry.
from day dot that this was going to be my life. Yeah. So they've been very supportive, and luckily it's given me an amazing life. I've been able to tour the whole world, and today it's brought me to Nairobi, which is beautiful.
Nice. A Storyteller, your debut album, the sound that was created, it was so unique and something you introduced a new genre of music. How did that come about?
That's just, I think, living in this confusing world where I was a Western Canadian, but I loved Bollywood, but I loved Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye, but I was in a town that played a lot of country music. I think all those things is what made Storyteller quite unique. And, it was just such an amazing time, I'd say, from like 4 or 5 years after that record came out. Really
you started, the old school black and white music era with the inclusion of hip-hop in it. And how did that come about? I think you're the one who set the trend of remixing. Later on, Bollywood went and picked it up from there. You are one of the pioneers. Maybe you can share with us about that.
Well, I really don't call what we do remixing. I sort of take umbrage with it because I think that what happens in India, there's such a... sometimes there's a lack of respect for the old music, and what they do is they just sing an old music and it's like a sexy video. We tried not to do that. We put the original song over another original song that I'd written with production that kind of leaned on both sides of that coin, and we tried to pay homage to it. What happened after that actually sort of upsets me because then it was just like, oh, let's just put a dance beat and sing an old song, and to get lumped into that category is, as an artist, has been difficult for me. And people say, why don't you put out, where did you go? Why don't you put out more music? But every time, if you come up with a concept, if it's taken and it's sort of watered down and bastardized that way, where it's taken and turned into something it's not, you have to reinvent yourself.
True.
And that takes time. So it's really easy for people to copy your idea.
So during Storyteller, it was one of the biggest albums. Today I was in a place called Diamond Plaza with your manager, and the guy's like, "Oh, Raghav, mujhe yaad hai, maine uske itni CDs bechi thi." That was like huge. Did you expect it to get the success that it actually did?
No, it was a perfect storm. I mean, anything in life that becomes a moment like that, like Storyteller really became a moment. There's a perfect storm of what was happening in the UK at the time.
There were just like 2 or 3 artists who were dominating the music industry then.
Totally.
And you were one of them.
And we were being treated, I hate to use this word, but we were treated like mainstream artists. We weren't being treated like we were just Indian artists.
But you did bridge the gap, considering you went not only Hindi,
No, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that the platform we were given was a much wider scope.
Okay.
It wasn't like the rest of the country in the UK was looking at us as purely a South Asian or an Indian act. It was just, this is great music. And it was quite a beautiful time for that, where people realized that, hey, all these cultures around the world are coming together, and we have to be more together, and let's take the benefits of all those and see what happens. And musically, that 04 to 06 time, we really got to shine. A couple of us as Indian artists that did that, and for me, it was just perfect timing, because that's who I am. Everything I'd done up until then in terms of writing was authentic, but it was authentic in one lane.
Yeah, the success of the album, who would you give it to? I mean, your producers, your writers, or
it's
like there was a big team behind it.
You know, if you eat the perfect omelet tomorrow, it's because the eggs are great, the chef was great, the peppers are great, the salt is great, the cheese is the right amount. There's so much that goes into making something that does that, and
considering there was no digital at that time, no social media.
Well, that was part of the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Is that people were discovering stuff. They were waiting for it.
Yeah.
And so the hunger, if you remember that era, there was a hunger to hear those songs.
Yes.
Because if you have to wait for something, it has a lot more value. And it's a lot less throwaway. People bought, the guy at the plaza today, people went and they got out of their car and they parked their car and they paid for parking and they
even
got some lunch and bought the CD, right?
The cover was an iconic one itself, with you, posing your hands in front and all that. Your look and everything.
A lot of people don't know that, but that cover was shot by Shashi Kapoor's son.
Really?
Yeah, so Shashi Kapoor's son is an amazing photographer. His name's Karan Kapoor.
Karan Kapoor. I remember he did one Bollywood movie once upon a time.
He did one, yeah.
So Sultanate, he was in Sultanate. Yeah.
Oh, you know more than I know.
Yep.
I've hung out with him and you know more than I know. And he's an amazing photographer, and he put together all the visuals for that album, which for me was like another one of those things that's just perfect,
Nice.
Shashi Kapoor is such a big hero of mine, and for his son, who's an amazing
Brilliant.
photographer.
So Bollywood, since we're at it, how did Bollywood come about? I mean, working with Shah Rukh Khan, Ishq, Shava and all that. Tell us your experience.
So I guess A.R. Rahman had been following my career for some time, and during a period in 12-13 when I was putting records out in Canada, but there was a lull, he sort of missed me and gave me a call, and I get this call at like 4 a.m, and I thought it was a prank call, someone pretending to be A.R. Rahman, and next thing I know, I'm on a flight to Mumbai, and I was recording. I didn't know that it was going to be a Shah Rukh Khan film.
Okay.
I knew that it was a Yash Chopra film, and I recorded it in a very late night session, and just waited, and next thing I know, it came out and it did really well. The movie was a special film because Yash Chopra passed away before the film came out.
Yes.
So we sort of halted the more aggressive promotions of some of the stuff out of respect for him and the memory of his life and his passing and stuff. So incredible, and it built a relationship with Rahman that continues to this day.
So working with the iconic, legendary A.R. Rahman, I mean, there was like, you had joined his camp at one time, or was it just for that particular track?
No, we've done a bunch of stuff together. We worked on a Hollywood film that actually has never come out.
Yeah.
That was called
It
Monkeys
was that good, huh?
You know what? It was that good, but unfortunately, corporately, the folks at DreamWorks changed their structure and it hit the cutting room floor. But it was a lot of fun. We did that with Steven Schwartz.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of South Indian films for him.
Nice.
And then the last thing I did, I think, was called Mavali Kavali for a film that I can't remember the name of. I'm really bad at that. Sorry, but. He's become a friend more than anything. He's a mentor, and when I put out a new record, I get to play it to him, and he tells me what's good about it and what's not so good.
Brilliant. So they say Bollywood can actually make you or break you. How true is that?
I don't believe that at all. I mean, I think that if you put all your eggs into any basket, that basket has a lot of power to bring glory to your life or bring you a lot of failure. I've been lucky in life that musically I've got to do a lot of things. I'm content with what I do musically. But I do have a hunger now to sort of reinvent a sound that I feel I helped create. Yeah. And there's been a generation of, half a generation of artists in between. Yeah. And I think I have something to offer again. So this year we're going to put out a lot of new music that will be desi, and hopefully people will feel it.
Brilliant. So guys, Raghav here with us. Where has he been all this time? What's coming up next? And about his single, Myra. We meet right after this break.
Irresistible recipe, rich and creamy, This coffee is made only for you. Or nearly so. MacCoffee Cappuccino di Torino. Coffee with Italian character.
So Raghav, you came with a big bang with Storyteller, and then a couple of singles came after that. Then you took a big break, nowhere to be seen. What happened?
Well, I've been putting out records the whole time in between.
Yeah.
One thing that really happened, though, is the stage that was afforded to independent artists like us who were in that scene was slowly taken away.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that I was putting out records and they were hits in Canada or in a Bollywood film, you have to remember at that time, Rishi, Jay, myself, our songs were all over MTV.
Yes.
We had billboards all over the place. And then I'd say around 2008, India, those channels went to a Bollywood-only format. So they played only Bollywood songs. And Bollywood became so much a majority of the market that we were sort of left with a lesser portion of the Indian market. And for me, I've never really tried to go and have a big USA kind of hit record. My heart's always been in the Desi market. So now things are shifting a little bit because of YouTube and everything. Things are shifting where you can have that breakthrough again here. But for me then to reestablish myself, I wanted to make sure that I didn't just come out sounding like everybody else. So this new record's going to be quite different.
And we were expecting when you're coming back, when we heard that you're releasing Myra and all that, we were like, okay, is he going to change his sound and everything? But you came back with the same. In fact, this time
I think Myra is really different.
With less instruments. I mean, it's a brilliant song to listen to, but you did not go the typical current way of, too much noise and electric. You didn't feel like you should change your sound.
I think you always find success when you do something different than what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
It's been an obsession with me to not sound like anybody else. I think that, when I'm dead and gone, people will say he was unique.
Yeah.
I hope they say that. And that I wasn't just chasing hits, trying to sound like other people. And so Myra, for me, in a moment where there's so much technology to produce so much amazing music with big beats and different sounds, I was like, let's take it all away and just highlight.
So you're focusing more on showing your vocal talents in that.
Yeah. But I think that
I think there's very few. There's not even a beat in that.
There's like one snare in the middle.
Just chilled out.
Yeah, they told me to add drums, so I sort of rebelliously added one snare.
How did that song come about, and what do you have to say about it?
Myra to me was, I heard Justin Bieber's "Love Yourself." And I think it's one of the best songs of the last decade. It's just a beautiful song, and it's in its simplicity. And sometimes when you're in the music industry, you're pulled in so many directions by people from labels, people on your team, the fans, people interviewing you, saying, "Well, you know what I mean?" That I was like, no, I'm going to strip it away and just make a great song. And I think we're nearing 15 million streams on it in India, and that's it. But the new album's going to be a little different from that.
Would it be correct to say that Myra is like a slower BPM of Angel Eyes?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
now that I'm thinking, similar, but
it's got an island vibe
version.
to it.
Yeah.
It does have an island vibe. I hear that, but it's. I don't quite see that. Angel Eyes is. Maybe it does have the loop. It has a 4-bar loop, so maybe a little bit. Look, Angel Eyes is such a monumental record in my life that there's going to be derivatives of that in everything that I do.
One of your fans told me to ask you that, which was your biggest personal favorite track from Storyteller?
My personal favorite track is probably Ain't Nobody or Bad Bad Bad, because I think they push the limits of even what we did on the first couple of records. But there's no denying that the song that's going to be synonymous with me for the rest of my life, I think, is going to be Angel Eyes. I think when I die, it's going to say Angel Eyes Singer Raghav. I hope it says Angel Eyes Singer Raghav dies in his Beverly Hills mansion.
So what do we expect from you? I mean, your comeback. Are you back? Is it okay to say that you're back in action?
No, not yet.
Are we expecting a big album?
I think expect an EP.
Singles again.
We'll start with singles, and we'll put out an EP.
Any big collabs coming in?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like right now, I'm really in the middle of the creative process. So for me to speak to how it's going to end up would be false. Yeah. But I will say this: the music is fresh, it's different, and it's either gonna soar or it's gonna fall under the radar. But I think for the first time in 15 years, we're going to be doing something for our people that makes them realize that I have a special place in this industry.
Brilliant. Are you a tea or a coffee person?
I'm a coffee guy.
Now, when I started the show, I said somebody who's actually vocally gifted. Maybe you can sing a few lines for us, and I'll give you something in return.
I gotta earn my coffee?
Yeah. Kenyans, man.
There's no one above it. We all need some loving, some kissing and hugging. Like, yeah, 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 yeah. Cause my baby's got, ooh, angel eyes. Oh, teri aankhon mein ikrar ki baaton mein bhigi bhigi raaton mein mujhko hai kho jana.
Brilliant. I'm sure they're all clapping right now. Thanks so much, Raghav, for coming. Anything for your Kenyan fans, We love you here, so what would you like to say?
Thank you very much for having me. Jambo?
Yeah, Jambo.
Okay, yes. It's great to be back. I think I'm here, I've been here 3 times now.
Yeah.
I love it very much, and I hope to be back more soon for the coffee.
For the coffee. There you go, guys. Kenyan coffee. Thanks so much, Raghav.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. We'll be in... There you go, guys. Raghav Mathur, the man himself, and he performed and he killed it. You guys can watch that, also the exclusive highlights, only on Zindagi TV. Thanks so much for watching. It's the FCK show, proudly brought to you by MacCoffee.